7:11 p.m. This is the Wednesday, September 14th, 2016 Finance Committee meeting. On the agenda for tonight, we have a reserve fund transfer from the town accountant. We have a Mass Municipal Association invoice for approval. We're going to discuss the fall town meeting warrant and the committee membership status. So first on the agenda is reserve fund transfer. I'll ask Ms. Gabri to come on up.
Hi, good
How are you?
evening.
I apologize for being late.
Oh, no worries. I was born late, as my kids. All right, so I know it's early in the year, so there is still money in my budget to let you know, of course there is. However, this particular cash audit was not budgeted for because we didn't know that there was going to be a turnover in the treasurer. And so this is standard practice for us to have a cash audit. Specifically, they come in and look at cash for the benefit of both the treasurer who's leaving the position as well as the one who's entering the position, and the town as well. So I had originally gotten an estimate of $3,500, which is their standard cost. However, there was a lot of work involved in reconciling the accounts, and the auditor, their actual bill is close to $7,500. I know I haven't budgeted for that. Yeah, they had to. I actually did finished the April treasurer's cash book, which I'm not supposed to do, but you know, so that they could come in here and audit it, the April cash, and found 4 accounts that weren't being accounted for on the treasurer's book. So it wasn't a huge deal as far as money. They were online accounts, most of them. And there was a large tax account, but the taxes are automatically, the receipts for taxes are automatically posted through Munis. So there's always timing differences. It's just we had it as outstanding. It was actually in an account. So it's good. It's all good. They did reconcile and found a very minimal difference, like $200. So I'm here before you to ask for this $7,474.40, which is the total of the bill, because I'm well aware. I mean, most of my budget is pretty much dedicated to me and Martha and pencils and the audit.
You need your pencils.
Yeah, I need my pencils, my erasers. So I don't think there'll be any money left to cover this. I know there won't be money left to cover this.
Yeah, usually you don't hand a lot of money back. No. Just from a process perspective, so the cash audit has to occur every time that we have turnover in the office.
Right.
So it's probably worth trying to remember when the terms are up to try and
maybe just
put that into the
put
budget.
It aside. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in case. Well,
okay.
I want to be a bad idea.
I'm just trying to think how we can organize. It's the one-offs that always catch us.
Yeah, the treasurer position has turned over a few times since I've been here, so yeah, that would be a good idea. If we don't spend it, we don't spend it. It goes back to free cash. So.
Okay.
So I'm going to just forward that to you for your signature, vote and signature, hopefully.
We'll see what everyone else says. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the reserve fund transfer in the amount of $7,474.40 for audit services to account ending in 53020.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a first and second. Are any other questions at this time? Anything for discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Chair says aye. 3-0 unanimous. All right. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Perfect.
Have a great evening.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda we have MMA. It says MMA invoice. I apologize. Actually, it's splinter of the MMA, the Association of Town Finance Committees. It's our annual membership for 5 individuals. Annual dues are $176. And I need a request that this be approved by the committee.
Just out of curiosity, you
Sure.
referenced it was for 5 members, but is that like a prorated amount?
No, it's
No,
just a single
you-
amount, but it gets
okay.
everyone.
Got it.
Everyone
Okay.
here.
Just wondering if there's a way for us to save money. Although maybe I should be more
Like you're
optimistic.
thinking, you should
There's
stay. You should.
That's
Glad you're here. Do you want this chair?
No.
I'll take a motion if the committee wills it.
I'd like to make a motion to approve for payment $176 for the Association of Town Finance Committees.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair says aye. Thank you very much. All right, moving on, fall town meeting warrant items. So I apologize, I don't have anything. We don't have a warrant, a preliminary warrant yet. The by board did meet yesterday, and we discussed some of the financial matters on fall town meeting. So I'll go give a quick run through of those. I apologize, I don't have anything written down to share. So the police superior's contract will be on the warrant. That is just for approval. It was not prepared or was not ready by the time Springtown meeting occurred. There's going to be a request for approval of the TADS program, teenage anxiety and depression. It's approximately $4,000. And this is something that's going to be an ongoing expense. So for FY18, we're going to add it into the operating budget so that we don't have to keep doing warrant articles for it. There's a transfer article from DPW, which is just transferring funds from, I think, one approval to another. There's a possibility of 3 from Conservation Commission. One is they're requesting that the position that they have become a full-time position. Additional costs on that is approximately $35,000, and that does include health insurance. Discussion at the by board was we didn't think it was really the right time because it should go through the normal process, personnel board, et cetera, and then be included in the FY18 budget. But it was preliminary conversations yesterday. They're looking for $6,000 to make some edits to the conservation wetland map. And their third that they may have is pond management contract, which is approximately, with what they've submitted to the town administrator, is approximately $60,000 a year. We looked that one over at by board, and it looks like it's the Cadillac of pond maintenance. So they're gonna be at the next board of selectmen
Did you
meeting.
say 60 or 16?
60,000.
60?
60, yeah,
I thought you
sorry,
said
16.
I did too.
Per year.
Well, it's a Cadillac plan.
What's the plan include?
I mean, we need pond management here.
They get a dredge Fletcher's pond? or
Yeah, so
something?
this is for, for example, for 2017, what they're proposing is for Sandy Pond, a sonar and reward treatment, which is about approximately $20,000. For Fletcher's Pond, a whole lake sonar treatment with fast tests, $30,000 to $35,000. For Balch Pond, spot treatments as needed with reward and AquaPro, $2,000 to $4,000. For Grove Pond, hand pulling the water chestnuts for $6,000. Pine Meadow Pond, spot treatments with reward and AquaPro, $4,000 to $5,000. So currently, there is money put aside, about $15,000 that was approved previously at town meeting, put aside for the pond management. That number came about 2 or 3 years ago when they came to us. They told us it was going to be, I think, $50,000 or $35,000 per year. So we approved 35 for the first year. Then they said the second year treatment is 35, and then after that, ongoing maintenance would only be 15. So the second town meeting, we approved 50,000, 35, which was spent. So there's 15 remaining. The problem, or part of the reason why this is coming up at fall, is because of the timing of Springtown meeting. It's actually too late to treat the ponds at that point. So the town administrator, they're coming to the Board of Selectmen, I think, at the next meeting, and the town administrator is also going to follow up and ask them to please kind of refine. Because the important part of what needs to come out of, or before this even comes out to the public, is some kind of education on what's being done, how much it costs, and also what the side effects are if we don't do it. So I'll leave this for anyone wants to take a look at it, and I can, I'll bring that to work tomorrow and scan a copy of it for everyone. Let's see, what else was on there? Reserve fund transfer, which we'll talk about last because we need to have a little further conversation on that. There's potential for a warrant article for police radios. There's a presentation at the next Board of Selectmen meeting where I guess there's a problem when you go into the eastern part
We've had a
of the town.
We've had a huge radio problem, and I believe it's gotten to more of a, almost like a safety grievance.
Yeah.
They're almost at that point. The communications are terrible.
Okay. So the estimated cost on that for the police chief is $250,000 to $345,000, which should, in my opinion, go through capital for vetting. Plus that would end up being a. I've been away from this for too long. There would have to be a override on the taxes for that, given that it's over $250,000.
Scott,
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
Mhm.
I thought we got some new radios.
We did.
And are these
That was my
now
question too.
not
I think
working?
what I understand by talking to some people, Mary, I thought it was the infrastructure that's the problem. I think the infrastructure needs to be addressed like the fire department did their infrastructure, I think, a while back. I think the police need to address that same infrastructure. I may be wrong, but that's what I was getting from a few people I spoke to.
That's kind of the gist I got from it too. It's
Yeah.
not just the handheld units, it's the
It's
relays and
the
everything
repeaters.
else. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's the repeaters and the whole bandwidth problem.
We can't have these kind of financial items at a fall town meeting.
And that's the other thing that came up at the discussion is, we're trying to minimize what's financially asked for at fall town meeting, even though we have to go back for reserve fund transfer, but we'll get to that in a moment. But, yeah, so, again, these are all preliminary. These are just kind of, from the buy board, this is what may be in the pipeline. We'll have a draft warrant, I think, in the next week and a half at the most. A bylaw amendment for no dog license fees for those over 70 plus, which may have an impact on revenue. I don't think it'll be material, but may have an impact on revenue. There's a potential for prior year bills, but Lisa has said that she hasn't found any. And then if free cash is certified, we'll be looking to do replenishment to the UDAG account from that. And then finally, a reserve fund transfer, which we did some analysis on. So this is, I asked the town accountant to put together just what reserve fund transfers have been for the last, can you pass that down to Mary, please?
Yep.
So the last 5 years, 6 years, she went back to 2008. And what we ended up doing for FY17 was reducing it from 150,000 FY16 down to 100,000. And we talked that through initially with the Board of Selectmen, but I had also talked it through with the town accountant and the town administrator, hoping that our budgeting was getting to a point where that would be sufficient. However, with some of the other things that have gone on since we set that budget in Springtown meeting, primarily the eminent domain has a potential for additional legal counsel. We think it's worthwhile, by board thinks, and I do agree, it's worthwhile requesting that we increase that by $50,000 to bring it back to $150,000. So I love everyone's thoughts and ideas on that. Bueller?
Well, I think if it was discussed and that's the recommendation from the board, like you said you attended, then, you know, and it's been like that in the past, you said?
It has.
What was the reason it went down?
So we reduced it because initially at the time, our run rate for FY16 was looking really, really good. I think at the time we set it, we decided to reduce it, we had used maybe $30,000 out of 150. So, you know, we discussed with, you know, town accountant, town administrator, like, all right, everything's going smoothly, you know, great. We can reduce it next year. And then late in the year after we had set the warrant, so the warrant gets set in April. So in May and June, there was an onslaught of expenses. So some of them were like the FICA medical wasn't something that we hadn't seen at that level in a while. We thought we had the budgeting at the proper level for that. It's down towards the bottom of the list. The unemployment, so the previous treasurer had moved us from a contributory donation or payment to actual expense. And the problem is we end up with unemployment expense, but the budget didn't even reflect coverage for one set of payments for one average employee. So we had to spend $9,000 on that. The fire department had increases because of more on-call firefighters, so it was something he didn't foresee when he had set his budget. On the police department, it was the $12,872. And I think also part of what needs to happen is we need to enforce the policy a little bit more. The policy is we do bottom line budgeting, but we set the budget by line item, and we'll do reserve fund transfers if a particular line item is depleted. And I think we need to kind of move back to pushing back on the bottom line. If you have it somewhere else in your budget, put it there, and then when come back at the end. But once you run out of funds within your budget,
Don't come unless the pail's empty.
yes, exactly. Yeah, and I'll take some blame for that. We've gotten a little lenient over the last few years. And then the tree warden, you know, he needed $18,000 to clean up trees, and he hadn't really spent very much over the
I
last
don't think he
2
did
to
it
3
for
years.
a while. I think he was a little.
He was, well, so he actually met with us back in, I think it was November last year, where he requested the reserve fund transfer. And he actually said he didn't realize he could ask for more money. He thought he was, you know, he got like, you know,
Locked
2 or
in.
3% and was locked in. So he worked with the town accountant for FY17 and set a viable budget, something that he can actually do some of the work that he needs to do within that. So a lot of those were late hitters, particularly the fire and then the FICA and the unemployment. I think that's what kind of threw our run rate off for FY16. So if it's okay, if there are any issues,
Do we have a rough estimate of or an anticipated cost for the eminent domain potential litigation cost? I mean, is there any sense of what that could be? And
Who
Next
would we
fiscal.
be expecting?
no.
no
Good
sense
answer.
of billable hours?
I don't have anything. I can request that of the town administrator.
We would just be guessing at this point based on where we stand.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if you follow it in the papers, just from what I've seen in the papers. So the landowner has now countersued the town, saying that it's not enough money that's being offered, even though
Right.
they went through the due diligence of, you know, getting the correct appraisal, et cetera. So that could, you know, depending on how that plans out, I mean, it could be a lot more than people expect.
Scott has 2 suits.
2 suits. I only read about the one.
One, Scott, was where he has the eminent domain lawyer who specializes in the amounts. The other, I think, is Worthingdale suing for prospective loss of business due to cutting down the available space they have there, and it might hurt the businesses that are there and prevent anyone from coming in and renting a space. So that's the local lawyer, so there's 2.
Oh, okay. Thank you. So there's 2, which I'll see if we have an estimate on that.
Yeah.
We may
Probably
need
too early,
we may
too
need
preliminary.
To do more than 50,000. So I guess I will just ask if there's any objections to requesting, at least for now, 50,000. I guess depending on what the answer we get from the town administrator, we may want to look a little higher. So, okay, all right. So we'll move forward with that as our plan to increase the reserve fund transfer. So those are all that we had discussed yesterday for the warrant. Like I said, we should have a rough draft warrant within probably the next week or so. Town meeting is October 24th. Just a reminder, you don't have to attend. If you can't make it, that's fine. And what was it? Oh, and also when you go, just a reminder, you go as a private citizen, even though you sit up at, with the finance committee, you're able to speak. If the committee agrees on one way with an article and you're against it, you just have to go down to the floor to make your statements, that's all. Okay. All right, moving on to committee member status. So there are 3 of us. We have quorum, technically.
Thank goodness we had 3.
Yes, thank you, Marion. Thank you, Marion. So I have received an email from the town administrator. There is an individual who is interested in the finance committee, so I'll follow up with this person in the next week or so, and see if kind of gauge their interest, answer any questions they have, and hopefully, if they're willing, have them contact the moderator. The other individual I'd spoken to in June came back to me last week and said that he is unable to make the time commitment right now, so I fully understand that and respect that. But I was hoping that, I did send, my reply back was, if you feel you have time, please keep us in mind. I've asked for about 5-10 minutes at the next Board of Selectmen's meeting. I actually want to go there and utilize, the live coverage and maybe having a reporter there to kind of give our plight, because it would be nice to, bolster the membership a little bit more so that everyone has a little more flexibility with, trying to get 2 meetings or, being able to skip meetings if need be, make my life a lot easier. Just trying to schedule meetings. So we'll go from there, and the assistant to the town administrator and the IT director, they're pushing a lot of the open committee positions or board positions in town on the Facebook page. So they're trying to, I think their goal, which they started on, I think, was once a week. They were going to highlight one board or one committee that has openings and kind of what it's about and how to get involved. So they did the finance committee back in July, I believe. So I'll ask for that to be repushed also.
This might not be the appropriate forum for it, but there are usually a fair number of people in the audience. Could we have a bit of a pitch at Fall Town meeting? Would that be an inappropriate venue to do that? Just so you have a captive audience more so than a Board of Selectmen meeting.
It would be up to the moderator at that point. I can approach him about that. Absolutely. Because I actually almost asked him that in the spring. But I was so far behind getting the presentation put together the day of town meeting that fell by the wayside. That is a good thought.
That's a good idea.
That's all I have on membership. Anything else? Any other thoughts or ideas? No? All right, thank you. Moving on to mail. We have a lot of mail. We haven't met in a while.
June?
It was June, I believe.
End of June.
So in with our invoice from the ATFC was a letter saying that as a member of the Association of Town Finance Committees, your committee receives many benefits. These include free copies of the Finance Committee Handbook on CD. They're also available online. Committee members registered a reduced rate for the annual town meeting being held this year, October 15th, at the Devons Commons Center. It's always been down in Franklin. It's in Devons now. Excellent.
That's convenient.
There will be 7 educational workshops with the following topics: Budgeting 101, Municipal Law, Employment Costs, Revenue Forecasting, School Funding, Analyzing Financial Statements, and the Effective Role of the Finance Committee. Watch for the agenda in August, which might still be in our mail. In the pile.
What date is this?
October 15th. I've been to this a couple of
It's a
times.
Saturday, right?
It is a Saturday.
I'll be nice and fresh
Oh,
after that
that's
red
right.
eye.
Oh, that's right. It is a very informative session. Even just from having there's usually Q&A sessions, and just hearing the questions that other committees have is excellent. But the presentations themselves are very good. They've always had it at the Tri-County Tech down in Franklin.
I heard the food was very good.
The food was fantastic. Oh my! They had the students cook, and the food was phenomenal. So I don't know what they're going to do if they're moving into
What's it,
Devons.
do they have a time?
No time here. Usually, I think it starts at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock. Plenty of time to go.
Plenty of time.
Just, don't bother even.
Flying in from San Francisco that morning.
Can't sleep on the plane.
Let's see.
No.
Received an invitation from the Neshoba Valley Technical High School for something that happened back in August 24th. I'll pass on that. Now, let's see.
That would be a good opportunity, though, because driving down to Franklin was always a trek.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the agenda. If anyone wants to take a look. Anyone's interested? These aside, if anyone wants to go. So if you want to go, we do have money in our budget. We will submit that for reimbursement. We still have $500 in our budget.
It's 8:15 a.m.
8:50 to 9:30, registration, breakfast, and networking.
Well, if you show up at 9:30,
Yeah, that's fine.
9:25, plenty of time.
We have a copy of the Beacon for September. We have a copy of the Beacon from the summer. Municipal Advocate from the summer. And then Municipal Directory from Massachusetts. If anyone wants that. So the directory has every town and city listed, and then all of the major phone numbers and contact information. It's a pretty good resource. I think the town administrator's office keeps a copy of that too. And that's all we have for now. So moving on to minutes. So we don't have any minutes for approval because actually technically we don't have a clerk. So what I would like to do is for our next meeting, do our little reshuffle for appointments and appoint a clerk at that point in time. And sorry about that. And we'll go from there. I'm going to catch up on the minutes for the last, I think, 4 or 5 meetings that we had back in the spring. Let's see, upcoming business. Nothing. I have 5-year budget model, but that's not happening. So committee updates. So the Regional School Building Committee. We had John Cummins giving us updates. Chris is sitting on that. I guess there's just one meeting
One
left.
more left, they said, yeah.
Excellent. Love the building.
It came out nice. Came out nice. They get the grass. We're addressing some situations with that, and I think what's holding us back at this point, they were talking about, they were supposed to do some slice seeding, and that was supposed to be happening within, I think, the 19th they were planning, but I think the water ban is now going to be croaking that for a little bit longer. We haven't discussed that, but I believe that's probably going to be a problem, because if they slice seed, you need the water, and we can't water during the water ban.
Okay.
But
Everyone has to do their part, unfortunately.
yep.
All right, excellent. Capital planning will be starting up usually October.
I think, yeah, I can tell you that Mr. Wetzel was at the August meeting, and if you remember, we were having the evaluation done of the Shirley Street Bridge
Yes.
and the culvert on West Main Street. I guess it's going to be extremely costly, so what he plans to do, I know, first is try to have a meeting with all the residents and the businesses up there. One of the options is to do the West Main Street all at once and close the whole thing, but that would mean reverting all the traffic, and can the buses, how would they get over
Yeah.
through Devon? So, and if you do it half at a time, it costs more, so they're supposed to come with a
Okay.
cost estimate. And then also he told us that the upgrade of the wastewater treatment plant, and that's all processed, and I heard a figure of $9 million. The last upgrade we did, and I'm not sure, and I'd have to ask Lisa if we finished paying for that, because that was an override, and that was over $5 million, and that was about 15 years ago. So those are two.
Yeah.
We got a couple of huge things
Okay.
coming up.
All right, thank you. Executive Buy Board gave the update as part of the town meeting warrant. The other thing that came up just for discussion was, so free cash is in the process of being certified and finalized, hopefully before fall town meeting. And the other thing was we had very preliminary discussions on the FY18 budget, which will start right after fall town meeting, just the process. And because of expenses like the Shirley Street Bridge and radios, et cetera, we're still looking to use the same methodology we have over the past few years, which is basically zero budget increase, but increases have to be quantified and discussed. So and that was it for Buy Board. Moving on to the Finance Committee Roundtable. I'll open it up to the members. Anything for discussion? No? Okay. So a couple of things I have. One is thanks for sticking with us. I know it's kind of rough not meeting at all during the summer. I'm very out of the sync of this. But we'll get back into try and get back into our normal meeting cadence. If anything does come up, please just let me know. I mean, fully understand everyone's personal lives take precedence over this. Hopefully we'll get some membership back up, and we'll have a little more flexibility going forward. And the other thing which I want to mention, so I mentioned next meeting we'll do some reshuffling. So currently we have chairman, vice chairman. We've lost our clerk. I'm willing to stay on as chairman, but if anyone wants this seat, they're more than happy to have it. I just want to put that out there for both of you to think about over the next 2 weeks. It's your call, no pressure. And that's all I have. Mary, do you have anything?
No, I just updated you on
Okay.
what I know.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Just real quick, so the other thing that we should discuss and think about, which we don't need to make decisions on in the short term, but we need to figure out how we want to handle the budget process from the meeting perspective. Generally, we've done, like when I was first on the committee, we met with every single department, and it was 3 weeks of 3 or 4 nights a week, long meetings. It was very informative, but people just don't have that time, and I think that's really what scares people away from membership. Last year, we met with only a handful. It was every Wednesday for 4 weeks. So I think it was three Wednesdays in February, and then the first Wednesday in March. Met with only the big ones, but we did open it up. If any of the other departments wanted to come see us, they were more than welcome to do that. It worked pretty well. The bigger problem that we had last year, I think, and Marianne, correct me if you felt differently, was our inability to really sync up with the Board of Selectmen for open discussion. We met once. In the preliminary stages, we weren't able to meet a second time before the warrant was finalized. So they approved their budget. Ours varied slightly because we met the next night, I believe it was, which, not that we always have to agree with the Board of Selectmen, but I always think we can hammer out our differences, and if we can present a unified budget, I think it works well for town meeting. It makes town meetings a lot shorter also. Which is,
Yeah, it seemed a little awkward this past time around.
That's a good way to describe it. Yeah. Yeah. So I will be talking to the town administrator because I want to make sure that the communication lines are open between the two bodies as we go through this whole process. All right. So next scheduled meeting is 2 weeks from tonight, September 28th at 7 p.m. And if there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn at 7:49 p.m. 7:49?
7:50, are we getting that?
I don't know, is that a 50 or is that a 49? 7:50, we'll round up.
I already wrote a 5.
All right.
It's 7:50.
Second.
My sight is poor.
You have glasses on.
I know, but it's still...
All those in favor say aye.
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 Chair says aye. Thank you for your time tonight. We are adjourned.